the lot where all those sisters live now has chickens, and recently acquired a couple of turkeys. They're pretty skinny right now, but there they are. And there's Aldo. He got the drill so he could show you how he set up the saw to automate the movement of the blade. Our dogs, some corn. They've made a greenhouse. Great strawberries, really, really good strawberries. Banana trees, although they suffer a lot in the winter. Probably will never give fruit, but they managed to survive. There used to be a mountain of gravel here that he stores to get a better deal on material for the roads he builds. And they got rid of all of it, and now they're rebuilding it, which the sisters' dogs are really happy about, because they used to always perch up there. They've been working more in the garden. They've got an oven, a wood oven over there against the wall like we have too. They've got grapes and peaches and plum trees, and a chayote, which is a local vegetable. The roots also, it has roots, tubers like potatoes sort of. There's an almond tree there. We don't know if it'll be successful, but so far it seems to be doing okay. And that's a kumquat. And here's some of the rocks that are the source material for the saw. This is volcanic rock full of bubbles. You'll see how great it looks once it's cut. There's the well. He made a well. And here is the rock that comes out of the denser part. It's also basalt. It's all basalt, but this is the stuff that isn't bubbly. It's used for cobbles and cobblestone. And they just finished the covering for the warehouse a couple weeks ago. Hasn't been painted yet. This is a new crane. It needs its motor and its pulley still, but it's a nice big crane so that those boulders that I filmed, and ones that are even larger, can be taken to the saw, which I'll show you in a minute. This is a bridge that they have pre-made for a contract they have. I mean, it's just small, but it's a bridge that they made in sections, and they'll lift them up, the sections, with the excavator and reassemble it on the road that they're building. They make manholes as well. That's one of those products. Here is an example of that volcanic rock once it goes through the saw. Really pretty. That's used for paving stones in the town of Pasquardo on sidewalks downtown, because it's cachet, you know, it's very high-end and stylish and all that. And of course it looks beautiful. It lasts forever. They make blocks also in town. Instead of using regular cobblestones, they pave with blocks of this stuff. And here is the saw. It's gigantic. And before I forget, the reason why all this structure has been built around it is because, my God, is it loud. And Aldo is starting to have, there he is, he's all ready to demonstrate. Aldo was getting humming in his ears all the time, just from a couple of weeks of operating this thing. So they stopped everything and built sound insulation around the whole thing, so his workers are looked after. So he's going to demonstrate. Maybe I should go around here, the outside. They rigged up this seat. The saw didn't come with all this, but they built a seat for the operator. I can't really get far enough away to show you properly, but and this is how they move the saw blade.
very small.
Uh-huh.
But whatever you wish.
Yeah.
It's very simple and easy for the operator. Look at that. Number 2. It's very easy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
They rigged this all up themselves. The saw came with a manual. It used to be there. It came with a wheel so you could turn it, but it was tiring over the course of a whole day, and so they rigged this up instead. And they rigged the seat and set it up so that it would all be connected, and now you can just sit there and use the drill and move the saw.
You can explain the windows.
Oh yeah.
The sound is...
Yeah, they're waiting for custom windows to be completed so that they can block out. I'm going to go around again because it's a narrow fit here. The custom windows have to be finished so they can block off that, and then there's this sliding mechanism that'll be insulated, sound insulated, and that will get rid of the last gaps. And there's various doors. Oh, one just closed because of the wind. So that people have access, because they're going to have to come in here and move the rocks so that they keep the production going. And the crane, they load it on there with a skid steer, and then the crane moves it around here, and then they slide it over. They're building a skid thing so that they can slide it over. And this thing cuts it. And it spatters the water back there. They made that too. There's a giant generator. I'm going to go around the outside to show you the generator. That's where they make the manholes. Aldo built that too. He built it from the metal bars. He built the whole thing and made the molds. This is for bending rebar. He made this too. These are those blocks. They're damn heavy. Beautiful. And from the cuttings, the off cuttings, they can also make products for facings for buildings, just things like that. There's lots of things they can do. Make use of all of it. This is going to be another crane here. Again, they took this axle from a truck and then they made this base out of a tube that they filled with rebar and concrete. They're very handy. And this is the smaller saw that does the small cuts once the big saw has done the majority. And this is the air intake, the sound insulated air intake. He was going to buy pre-made ones, but they were really expensive. And after studying them for a while, he decided to just make them. And this is the giant generator. How many cuántos caballos?
125.
125 horse.
No, there's no horse. It's KBA.
KBA? I think that, creo que KBA, 125 kVA, which I think is based on horsepower. I'm not sure. Okay, but I thought it was linked. It's similar. Anyhow, the water runoff. It all has to be. There has to be a water feed. That's the pump for the water feed, and it drains into this and drains back to the reservoir, and they use it over and over, so that they don't waste water. And there are the beautiful cabins. There'll be 2 more eventually, and he's going to build an office on this foundation here. They're just finishing up the... Oh yeah. Yeah, the final office well, for the staff, and during the day is on top of the structure where they had the generator and the saw inside. So that'll be like the lunchroom and a meeting space. But they're also going to build a house there. That's the door. That's the sliding door. They have to open and close this when they're cutting too. So they would move in 1 or 2 big boulders, and it takes like 20 minutes or half an hour to do all the cuts on that. And then they open it up again and bring in more.
Using this door.
Hmm?
When using the machine,
Uh-huh.
the operator using this door in and out.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And there's all the trucks. The motor grader is going to be replaced. The motor grader has gotten pretty touchy. It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. So the JCB excavator was sold, and now we have just the Komatsu excavator, and those funds will go towards replacing the motor grader, and all the other pieces are like they were before. Oh, they got that's for for making asphalt, small amounts of asphalt.
Asphalt, no?
Uh-huh. Asphalt in English. Well, that's how I usually pronounce it. Yeah, okay, I guess that's everything. What a beautiful view back there, eh? That'll always be like that. There's a canal down there that goes to the lake, which is over there. So that's always going to be farmland. Okay, let me turn this around and say hi.
Say hi. Hi. See you in 1 month.
Yep. And then we're going to come again in the fall, because we want to have more time to get everything ready for buying a house. Okay? Bye.
See you later.